I did it too. Worked hard, almost died, and what did it get me? All money isn't good money, so what else is there? How about abundance? Wealth, health. Success without being burned out and stressed out. I figured out that this was a possibility, so I had to let the hustle go. Now it's your turn. There's a very good chance that you've spent a lot of money to make a lot of money. You have a 6 or 7 figure business that keeps you up at night. I want you to continue to have success, but this time on your own terms. Grab this toolkit and stop the hustle. Not because I say so, but because you deserve a life that you don't have to escape from. And most of all, you need to sleep. Get it now at bit.ly/STH22024.
Welcome to the Marriage and Mating Summit, presented by the College of Empowerment to help us all get our ships together. At the College of Empowerment, we're innovating personal and professional development with an online community, courses, and private coaching. Take a course. Get a coach.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's day 2 of the Marriage and Mating Summit presented by the College of Empowerment. And I am your host, yet again, Stephanie D. McKenzie, and I'm here with an amazing plethora of guests today. Today's session starts at noon. And then our second session starts at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. I want to go ahead and apologize for possibly some of the drags that we've had throughout the panel. However, I have to say there has been some amazing information that has been shared. So forgive us for the technical difficulties. We all know the internet is interneting, and so we just keep pushing forward. Nevertheless, this panel today is about dating after divorce. And I think one of the things that doesn't get talked about enough is divorce in general and how we feel after divorce. Because when it comes to grief and loss, we only talk about it when it comes to death. But if you have a marriage and that marriage ceases to be, you get to grieve that. You get to have all the feelings about that. You get to have joy about that. And even if you were with a toxic partner, you get to grieve that and you get to miss them as well. So I think this is a great time for us to get into a candid conversation about what it looks like to date after divorce. And so I have the help of my amazing panel to do just that. First, Evelyn Wilson. She's an entrepreneur, a best-selling co-author, certified master life coach, a mom, and a motivational speaker. She is the CEO of the No Ceiling Network, which is a Brooklyn-based boutique marketing agency. She loves seeing people transformed through business, spiritual, or wellness. Also joining the panel is Monica Eccles, a gifted intuitive coach, mentor, and birth doula who supports those who desire to embrace their purpose in alignment with divine design and wisdom. She is the founder of Harmony's Heart. Risha Gray is a passionate self-help coach and healthy lifestyle advocate, empowering individuals to unlock their full potential and thrive through personalized guidance and support. She believes in taking a holistic approach to well-being, integrating physical, mental, and emotional aspects for lasting change. And because we always have to have a man in the mix, we must have we've had some amazing men during these 2 days, and this one top tier. Tyrone Jones is a coach and he assists individuals as a personal and professional development coach and a mentor at Abeyo Coaching and Mentoring. His journey began in the heart of the Baltimore City Fire Department, where he served as an officer. The camaraderie, challenges, and lessons from those days deeply enriched his life and continue to resonate and personal growth. On a personal note, he adds, my life has been full of experiences, some similar to yours, and others uniquely mine. Each moment, whether filled with joy or shadowed by trials, has taught me an invaluable lesson. Improving our personal, professional, and relational lives starts with enhancing ourselves. I want to welcome everybody to the stage. Hello, panelists. How are you today?
Great. How are you?
Hello, everyone.
Doing well. Doing well.
All the beautiful smiles.
So, as I told everyone, I think we're breaking the internet over here. Like it's just happening. We're breaking the internet. It just is what it is. I want to let you guys know that we may have a little bit of a drag. So we're going to do our best to not talk over each other and all of that good stuff, but everyone's station with everyone. So let's start it off. How can you tell? Because I know that there is always so much bad information that goes out when it comes to ending a relationship, getting divorced, all of that. In your opinion and experience, how can you truly tell if a connection is actually ready for a relationship? Let's start with Evelyn.
Let me see if I get the question correctly. You said, when is a connection ready for a relationship?
Yes, because we connect with people all the time. I think so. Connection, kind of the precursor to like a relationship.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so for me, I think I'm always open to forming relationships with people, but how do I say this? Basically, who they are in my life is what I have to determine. So that relationship can always be there, but how important are they going to be in my life? How impactful am I going to let them be in my life? That's to be decided. So I guess when we're talking about going into a deeper type of relationship, I think that when there's trust and when there is a feeling of safety in that relationship, that's when I think you're ready to go further.
Risha, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Evelyn really, she took the words out of my mouth, because I was going to definitely say, like, I think one of the most important pieces is safety, is checking in with your body and seeing how safe you feel. I think a lot of times as women, we can discount what our body is saying to us. And many times our body is speaking to us the entire time. But we usually have a disconnect. Like, we think that butterflies are a good thing when they're really not, And so I think that checking in with your body and knowing if you feel safe, like, safety is one of the number one indicators of whether or not a relationship should be explored.
Any thoughts on that, TJ?
Monica first, please, if you like.
Well, my thoughts on that is how you know you're ready for a connection really starts with you. How do you feel? How do you feel about yourself? Where are you mentally? Where are you emotionally? Are you getting into this connection to try to fill a void that you have yet to fill for yourself? Those are some of the questions that I ask myself before I enter into a new connection. Even if it's not a romantic connection, I question myself about where I am mentally as well before I enter into new friendships based off the things that I've experienced. So that is what I feel is something important to consider when you think of beginning a new connection with someone?
Great answers for everyone. I just want to follow up on it because basically, when you first meet someone, that connection you have is already pretty much a mutual attraction and enjoyment, getting to know each other from the beginning, right there. But when you find yourself ready to go deeper, as Evelyn mentioned earlier, it was a great word that I like to use. Go deeper when you're ready to really share more intimate information about yourself with that person. You're pretty much getting ready for a better connection and a more deeper relationship that way.
Absolutely agree. And I really feel like the idea of safety is something that many of us take for granted. I feel like it's something that we need to be more mindful of because I think sometimes, regardless of whether you were divorced, if you've been divorced or not, I think when we engage in relationships, be them platonic, romantic, or whatever, and we don't feel safe, that impacts us even more negatively. It's almost like we're crafting our own traumatic experience simply because we didn't put a priority on our need to feel safe.
Mhm. That is
Monica, do
true.
you have any thoughts on that?
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
For so long, I did not consider my feelings. I felt unsafe in so many situations and so many relationships. And instead of me making a point to let it be known that I need more from you or I don't feel safe, even letting them know that I don't feel safe, it was just me suffering in silence. And so that's something that so many people do, men and women alike. They suffer in silence. They don't speak up about their needs, their wants, and or their desires.
And I think that's really important. I think as we evolve and we have more conversations around what healing really looks like,
Mhm.
I think we have to, give one time, if you will, one time for the safety, one time
Right.
for the times when we just kind of gaslit ourselves and proceeded in the relationship. You know what I mean? I think we have to be mindful of that. I think we have to acknowledge that.
Mhm.
Um, because that's the truth for a lot of that's the truth for many of us, and that doesn't mean that anyone had the right to mistreat us, but it definitely means that we need to acknowledge that that actually did happen and not just skate over it, right?
Right.
So while I have you here, I want to ask you a question because, I know a lot of people that talk about, there's a lot of people that are very loud. And we talked about social media a lot during the panel. And there's a lot of
Mhm.
people that are loud on the topic of divorce. You got to get rid of them, cut them, whatever, whatever. Do you think that divorce is overused as a solution to, dare I say, marital dysfunction?
Oh, absolutely. We're in the age of what you won't do, someone else will do, or so we assume. The grass is always greener. Society is that we're in. You know, it's more difficult. Well, I would say it's not more difficult. I feel it more challenging for people these days to really take time to work through the uncomfortable aspects of not only our own development, but the development of our relationships. And so, what we tend to do instead of doing the work and being in an uncomfortable place or position for a while, we just want to run. We want to run away from it. We want to get away from the issue, thinking that's going to solve the problem when really we're just going to run from one place to another place and the problem is going to be waiting for us through another person. So, yes, I do. I do feel that divorce is used more than it should be.
If I can chime in, I feel I have a little opposite opinion on that. Even though, in my personal experience, the divorce, I went through a divorce and it was kind of a surprise to me because I wasn't the one that filed. But looking back on hindsight, sometimes, well, not really sometimes, all of the times we have to take time to get to know ourselves before we can even get into a marriage. And I think a lot of times people don't do that. And I know I
Mhm.
didn't. And so to separate from that person, get a divorce, sometimes it's necessary, and because you got to work on that stuff by yourself. And then, if you decide to come back together, so be it. But I think that a lot of the work that we have to do has to be done by ourselves. So if you got to get a divorce to be able to do that work, then so be it. Even though it's very painful, but so be it.
Absolutely. But that's why it's so important to know yourself. What we talked about earlier when Stephanie posed the question to us about how do you know you're ready for a connection? I think we need to focus more on, am I ready for a relationship, let alone a marriage? So we don't even have to worry about getting to the divorce part because we've done the work on the front end instead of on the back end.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree with that for sure.
Risha, did you have any thoughts before we get into some of these comments?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to share that I think that when a lot of conversations are had about divorce, it can almost seem like people are pushing divorce or saying divorce is the way. And I think that it needs to be said that divorce is hard. And if there are ways to avoid it, like if you are with a partner that is willing to work and y'all are equally putting in effort to work on the relationship, by all means do that. Because it's not like just going to the store and returning something and you don't think about it again. Like it takes work and it is effort. And so when there are conversations had about divorce, I don't think that people are coming from a place of like, hey, if things are going bad, just leave. But I think that these are necessary conversations so that people can understand the importance of doing the work before you get into a relationship, and also being willing to do the work when you're in the relationship.
Yes.
So I want to share that piece.
And I'm glad that you all are saying, because I think people get all excited sometimes about, oh, I'm just going to get a divorce. Oh, I'm out of here. I know my worth. And I'm like, that's cool. But I think it's important, like you all were saying, first of all, it's heartbreaking. First of all, it hurts. And I think regardless of how you felt about the person or et cetera, when a marriage comes to that critical point, right? When we thought we were going to do life with somebody and doing life with that somebody really ain't what's going to happen for whatever reason, there's something that we have to acknowledge within us. And I personally call it grief, because there's a loss there. So what I want to do really quickly, we've got some comments that are coming in. I want to make sure that we love on our viewers this morning. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and I got Instagram to work. So all of you on Instagram, you can go over to, I think, my profile or the College of Empowerment. So either at Stephanie D. McKenzie or the College of Empowerment. I don't know which one I'm streaming to, but I think it's happening. All right. So Creative Soul says, hey, y'all. Hey, girl. How you doing?
Hey.
We love it. Ironheart. Listen, Ironheart with these 0 eyes. I mean, are these O eyes? Are they O eyes? I think they're O eyes. Like, I think they mean whoa. I think. Ironheart, character translate. I think they mean whoa. I'm just going to go out on a limb. Creative Soul says, woohoo. That I understand. I love it. Hello, everybody. Hey, Mimi. Evelyn is, also giving us props from Facebook. Thank you, Evelyn, for being here and there. I like it when you're in two places. That's amazing. Hey, we can do this. It's Mark Zuckerberg's internet. We can do this. Mimi says, yes, safety is priority in any relationship. It must be reciprocal, because I am so genuine. I have to ensure my safety is secure. Absolutely. Because I don't know if you know this, but there are people that will take advantage of you. And hearts back to you, Kiana. There are people that will take advantage of you and don't even know they're taking advantage of you, because, they're so used to taking advantage of people, like they have no idea. It's just the reality of the situation. And that's why it's so important for us to be mindful of our own safety and security, right? Like, it's just so mindful for us to be aware of that. So Now we've kind of talked about the idea, and viewers, I know you have comments. I know, start the questions. We're ready. We can take it. We got this. But I know we talked about earlier about just some general signs about someone as if you meet them, if they're ready for a connection. But I want to ask, what are some signs that you personally might be ready for a relationship? And I'm going to start that question with Evelyn.
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a very good question.
Thank you.
Yes. Because I listen. If I can, I'll give the opposite of that. Coming out of a marriage, thinking like, okay, I'm gonna take a little time to do a little healing, and then bam, get in a relationship and be like, this is amazing, this is wonderful, and then maybe a few months later, be devastated because it was a rebound and you weren't ready. Okay. So that's the opposite of it. But yeah, because of that experience, I now know that being ready to be in a relationship means that you've done the personal work and you understand yourself. You understand what you like. You've taken time to go out on dates by yourself. You've given yourself that love and attention that you desire from someone else. And you have given yourself the things that you need so that when you enter the relationship, they're only adding to what's already there in your life. And you're not, going in expecting them to fulfill something within you that you didn't fulfill for yourself. So doing that personal work is so key to being ready to be in a relationship for sure. And that takes trial and error to get to that point.
Absolutely. I honestly, thank you for your candor. I honestly want to hear more about the rebound, because how did you figure out that it was a rebound? Like, what were the telltale signs? Were you like, uh-oh, oops?
So I think, the mindset of it all, everybody might not share this, but I'm going to share this, that the mindset of it all for me was once I got over the grief of it all and mourning the marriage and understanding that what I wanted it to be, it was not. It took some time for that, but then I was like, this freedom feels kind of good, so let me explore this. Let me see. And so, in exploring that freedom, I had some amazing experiences though. I'm talking about, just going on amazing dates, traveling, different things like that. So I don't discount the rebound, honestly, because I just believe in living in the moment of every experience and learning from it. But how did I know it was a rebound? Pretty quickly. Pretty quickly, because when you get to know a person, you kind of know like they're not really what I actually desire or what I really want, but they're fun. This is exciting. I like the feeling of it. But when it's a rebound, because you'd be like, could I actually see myself being with this person for the long run? Nah, So if we're honest with ourselves, we know pretty soon.
Okay. I'm curious, can anybody else speak to some rebound behavior? We're gonna keep it a buck in this room, or we're gonna talk about the rebounds. Monica, you got rebound business to attend to here?
I love definitions. That's the air sign in me. And so if we look at there's several different definitions, but this one in particular, I'm interested in an instance of increasing in value, amount, or strength after a previous decline. So when you think about a rebound, that's usually the person that you go to after you forget the value of your partner. You forget the worth. You forget all the good times because you're so focused on the hard times. You get with the new person, AKA the rebound, and they remind you just how good that person was, because now you're dealing with, okay, so I was worried about he never picked up his drawers in the bathroom, but this joker over here snores loud. I'm being serious. We go to different people thinking that we're going to find someone better than who we have. But seriously, a lot of times, and we all know that sometimes people just aren't great people, but there are so many instances where great people get declined, overlooked, or left simply because the person that was with them forgot about how valuable they were. They got comfortable, they got complacent. So to me, sometimes the rebound comes in handy. I would hate to be the rebound person, but rebounds help to refocus individuals on what's important.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And I'll chime in and I'll say, I mean, at some point, someone's got to
I
be
just need one time for that. Okay.
Oh, I was just saying, like, at some point, someone has to be the rebound, right? Because someone has to be the next person up. And I think that rebounds can kind of serve as like a temperature check. Like, they really help you see how far along on your journey you are. Because if we're honest with ourselves, the work is never done. Like, we are continually learning about ourselves. We're continually growing and expanding and evolving. And, you know, as you enter into these relationships, or some would call it a rebound, it is an opportunity for you to self-reflect and see, like, am I growing in this area? Have I really worked on my boundaries? Am I clear on what I want and what I don't want, what I'm going to tolerate, what I'm not going to tolerate? How am I showing up? Am I being emotionally vulnerable and available to show up in a relationship and be able to reciprocate that, you know? So I think that, you know, I would agree. I think that we're all kind of saying, like, at some point rebounds are going to happen and they can be beneficial.
I would like to add to that it also differs in your time frame of age. In your 20s, your rebound is different. Your 30s, your rebound is different. Your 40s, your rebound is different. And me being young in my 20s, my rebound, I just wanted, to be honest, just sex. I wasn't looking at relationship, anything deeper than that at all. You know, I know a lot of men were doing the same thing. In my 30s, the rebound, looking for something a bit more, you know, a bit more of a better woman. And it wasn't until my 40s when I really looked for more depth. And I wanted to really, really start creating and growing and building together with someone. So during my rebound, when I was seeing a younger female, she wasn't on the level that I was now in my 40s if she's in her lower 30s. You know, it's a big difference right there between us in maturity and also our understanding of things. So rebounds can be good, especially if we pay attention to us about rebounds, and also look at who we're having that rebound with and what we're expecting and wanting from that rebound.
Okay, that is an amazing perspective because I think life stage has more credence. We should give life stage more credence than we often do in all relationship facets, right? Because the way we see things in our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, I think it all definitely varies. And I thank you for bringing that up. While I have you here, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick reset, but you have generously given us 2 sessions for 2 people. Did I get that right? 2 people, 2 sessions?
Yes.
I think I got that right. Perfect. Yes. So I want to go ahead and reset, and then I want you to help me pick the winners. All right. So for those of you who are just tuning in, you are watching the Dating After Divorce panel, which is a part of the Marriage and Mating Summit presented by the College of Empowerment. And I'm your host, Stephanie D. McKenzie, and Tyrone T.J. Jones is one of our panelists, but also has given us one of our giveaways. So earlier today, I took the names of everyone that had signed up, and we downloaded that file and we assigned a number. So we put a number into something called the Wheel of Names. We spun the wheel. I promise this happened. I made a video. I'll put it on our Facebook page just for the sake of transparency. And so I have 5 winners, and you're going to help me choose the winner of your particular giveaway. And so to do that, Tyrone, I need you to give me a number from 1 to 80, and you can help me pick 2. So we'll do that twice. So pick a number from 1 to 80. The closest one will win their sessions with you. So
25.
I feel like I need some music here.
25. 25.
Okay.
That was
Let's
my first
get some
sketching
ambiance. Hold on, y'all. 20. Okay. So y'all can't see this, but it says 23. And that winner is going to be Donna Thompson. I don't know Donna, so congrats, Donna. You're going to get to have some sessions with TJ. Gave us a little ambiance. Why not? Well, a little bit more ambiance than that. So that's our first winner. All right, TJ, I need another number from 1 to 80.
43.
4. Wow. Okay. Well, the closest is 49. I know
Sounds
y'all
good.
talking about my bootleg, like, giveaway, like process. It's fine. And the person only signed up as Lourdes. So I'm going to say, Lord, we do have emails for everyone. So we will send an email, but that is your second winner. So there we go. Donna Thompson and Lourdes, come on down. You have won. Woo! And for those of you who signed up, we have 3 more giveaways. One will be and they'll be in the second panel, including 2 giveaways of my Heart, Mind, and Bottom Line Vault that's worth about $10,000. So TJ, thank you so very much for that. I know they're going to enjoy those sessions with you. Absolutely. So guys, we are still here in the panel. I see your comments are coming in. We appreciate you guys being interactive. Oh, cool. Awesome. We appreciate you guys being super interactive, dropping your questions as well as your comments. TJ, while I have you here, I had a question for you, but I think you've already answered it. But just for the sake of argument, the question was, is a rebound a bad thing? And I think we kind of answered that. So let me put a spin on it. Okay. Is there a time when a rebound is a bad thing?
Yes. A lot of times we must look at ourselves and do a lot of really deep accountability and insight into ourselves. We must really be able to fully process our emotions afterwards, because your rebound is for you, but the damage it could do to someone else, now they got to sit and heal from that right there while you are healing as well. Also in that, we look at our personal growth when you're going through a rebound. What are you doing? What are you doing for you to make you better than what you was in your previous relationship? Because you're going to go to someone else, not with the intentions of rebound, but even sometimes the former relationship. If you're not growing and becoming better, you're going to have the same problems and bringing that same luggage and stuff there in that next relationship as well. Also, a lot of times rebounds, there's a quick end to it, and sometimes, like I mentioned earlier, someone gets hurt from that. You also do comparison from your partner to this other person, which is not always good. If anybody's going to compare yourself. Compare the person who you was in that previous relationship to who you now are becoming. Compare yourself that way and look at you. I'm big on accountability, very big on accountability. And until we say be accountable for ourselves and stop pointing the finger at somebody else, look at our own selves in the mirror, and also addressing the elephant in the room, which is yourself. Until we start doing that, we will continue having the same problems, bring into each relationship, and keep having a failed one, and keep rebounding instead of going down to the other end of the court and scoring. To put it in basketball terms. But that's where I look at
it. I absolutely agree with you. And I think some people are living like in a vicious cycle of rebounding. Like it's a vicious cycle. Like they're just they're just rebounding. But Creative Soul says rebounding before healing can be detrimental. And moment of transparency, I was an emotional rebound for someone. And it was a situation that I did not see coming. I talked a little bit about this situation last night at the very adult conversation that some of y'all missed with Nurse Millie J, but it was an amazing conversation. I bet next time you'll be there. But anyway, I was an emotional rebound for someone, and you would think as a relationship coach, as a woman, as a as somebody who's a bit spiritually adept, that I would have seen it coming, but I didn't realize that this person did not have the emotional fortitude to be the partner that I knew I was ready for. You know, unfortunately, they were still reeling from the heartache of the divorce, and it wasn't even heartache because it was kind of a marriage out of obligation. But again, regardless of the reason for the marriage, I personally don't feel anybody gets married to get divorced. And so you kind of just have to take that in, and you have to deal with that. And I just didn't realize that it hadn't been dealt with. And so out of that space, I was an emotional rebound. And so as we're on this topic, and I have you here, TJ, you know, for people that have been rebounded upon, I guess, what advice do you give to them for them to recover from that?
You mentioned a key word there about the emotional level of you at that time. And we all must be responsible for ourselves emotionally. Look at logic sometimes, and not just our heart and our emotions. And I know, and please, I'm not trying to disperse between the two of us today, but males and females, it's a lot harder for women, especially with the emotions. I'm not saying men aren't emotional. Men are emotional just as well. But I don't date men. But from my clients, I hear a lot about the men also as well with their emotions. But you have to put yourself in a better emotional category, whereas you have healed, you are wiser, you are paying attention to signs. You're not just going because it makes you feel good. You're going into it looking for something a bit more deeper and a bit more responsible from both partners. And a lot of times we don't do that. Yes, when you're going through a rebound, it's fun. Sometimes it's fun, good out there. Getting that confidence built back up in you by having people acknowledge you, having people see you and stuff, right? But deep down inside, you still want more than that. Those are just momentarily things. If you're seeking something deeper, that's more longer lasting. Work toward that as your goal, more so than just the rebound and the now thing. Okay, let's put it like that. So work on your emotions, work on your personal development. All of that will help you succeed and thrive after the rebound.
Yeah, I can chime in on that a little bit.
That's a great.
Come on, bring it.
Yeah, please do.
I can comment on a little bit. You know, I can't really speak from the intentional rebound part, like just going out. Well, let me go back on that. I actually can. So, we have, these ideas of feminine energy, masculine energy. Well, a lot of, women would also go out only seeking, a good time as well. And so I believe that many men get hurt by this. But I think the way that they show it is different.
Yes.
But it's still there. And because they were expecting something from the relationship more than what the woman was ready to, put out, I think that the way it shows up with them is in their next relationship, is like, I don't trust the woman. I can't, I'm not going there with anybody anymore. Somebody's going to have to be, God's gift to earth, before I decide I'm going to settle down with a woman, so I do believe that as women, we can do some damage. We can, if we don't take the time to heal, and if we are not intentional about how we go into relationships, for sure. So yeah, a rebound can be a bad thing. It definitely can.
Yes. Come on, Monica, what you got to say, Monica? Share with us, please.
You just want to call me out. I agree. And I admit, when I was not in my healed state right after my divorce, I didn't realize it. Like you said, Evelyn, I was using people as rebounds. I didn't know that's what I was doing. And you don't realize it until you do it. Until you when you see them start to develop these feelings that you don't have, and it's like, wait a minute, I was just trying to today, you trying to plan the rest of our life. And it's not funny. I'm not laughing as if it's funny. I'm laughing at myself because I just knew what I was doing, right? Like we all do. I just knew what I was doing. But in fact, I was bringing someone into my unresolved mess that I didn't even realize was still unresolved. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a real thing.
I'm going to share something real quick to be vulnerable. When my ex-fiance and I broke up, I was crying quite a bit over that right there. I met another young lady, the rebound young lady. She told me after about a month and a half that she pulled away from me because she knew it was a rebound. And I was like, no, no, don't do that. I really care about you. Next thing I know, I'm in the house crying over 2 women at the same time. I'm crying because I never got over my ex-fiance, trying to heal from that. Now I'm also crying because my rebound young lady was dropping me.
Oh my
You know,
Lord.
this is why it's important to make sure before we move on, you got to heal within yourself. It's very, very important to do that, you know. And that's just me being open. I have no problem sharing that at all. Because we men do cry.
Can I ask a question, TJ? Is it okay, Stephanie, for me to ask? The question I have, because you are the only man on the panel, what is it that you suggest that men do to heal? Because what I find, what my observation and my experience has been, after a divorce, all the couples that I've known, the man just goes out and he has a good old time. The woman is the one, normally, from my experience, like I said, sitting at home, doing the crying, doing the working, workbooks and journaling. And then couple of months later, since she's taken that time with herself, she now enters into a very successful relationship. And now the man that was out there having a great time, he's looking like, well, but wait a minute, you used to be mine. And now he's trying to get back with her. So what is it that you suggest for men? Because we don't hear a lot for y'all what to do and how to do.
Great response and great question. First, you ladies are doing the right thing when you don't do what the men doing, because he's reacting. Okay, by you staying back, you're responding. You're taking care of you now. Okay, you're taking care of you. Him going out there having a good time, he's still hurting, but he don't address it. This is why he see you the next time, a couple months later, you're looking good, you're doing better, and you're telling him no, because you know he's still that same man he was previously, and you're now a better woman. He must do the same thing. Take the time, let go of that pride, let go of that ego. Excuse me, I can't curse on here, but say that I did mess up, and now I'm going to be a better man. A lot of men don't do that because we hold on to a lot of things that's instilled to us when we're young about how a man should be. I help a lot of my male clients look at themselves, become vulnerable, but also become stronger and better men by being understanding to the emotional aspect of it, because they don't always address that right there. But to tell them, and if anything, let go of that pride and ego, heal yourself. Don't go out here using women just for certain things you want to do to get you through your rebound process or your healing process. Become a better man after that, not a worse man. A great question.
I love that. Amen.
Awesome. I will chime in on that too. I think some men, you know, I don't think anything is just overarching for everybody. And I think some men actually do that type of work, and they don't go out and wild out, as we say, you know.
Yeah.
And they're better for it. So I just want to give kudos to those men out there who do the work. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Totally agree, Evan. Good point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, panel. Now listen, y'all over here just spilling all the tea and whatnot. I really appreciate TJ's, share. I think it's important that we have those moments that we really just say, listen, this is what it is, this is what happened. And I really just wanted to hug you because I'm like, dang, you crying over 2 women at the same time. Like, wow. That's a lot. But listen, I think everybody here can relate to having their heart broken. I feel like everybody here can relate to that. And that's a real thing. And I think one of the things that's so powerful about what you shared with us is because you took the time to emote. You weren't just like, oh, well, I'm gonna get out in these streets and, whatever, I'm a man, would. You took the time to emote. And I think emoting is such a powerful thing. So much so, I think that we've talked a lot about, emoting as well as self-reflection. And so, Risha, I'm curious about your thoughts on how self-reflection actually does aid us when we're moving on to a relationship, and maybe give us some practical things that we can do.
Yeah, thank you for this question, because I think, when we talk about divorce, a lot of times we can come from the place of when it's initially happening, looking at the other person and seeing all the things that they did wrong in the relationship. But the healing does not begin until we start looking at ourselves and looking at the role that we played in that relationship and allowing certain things to happen. I know I can say for me, I was not able to move forward until I started looking at myself. And my entire healing journey has been about me. And the times that I have slipped back into looking at what my ex partner did, it never went well for me. Because when you start looking at everyone else, it takes you out of your power. It takes you out of the responsibility that you have to change your life, to move forward. And so self reflection is everything. And, it starts with asking yourself those questions. What role did I play? And sometimes it can be as simple as I didn't have strong boundaries.
Mm.
I didn't know how to speak up for myself. It doesn't always have to be these major things, but trust and believe that anytime a relationship breaks down, it's two people. And there is a role that you have played in the dissolution of the relationship. So, it's just really important to have those, to practice the pause, to practice the sitting with yourself and reflecting on your own behaviors and your own, shadows and your own blind spots that you have, and doing that inner work to really see yourself for who you are. And it is painful, to look at yourself, but it is so necessary if we want successful relationships.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. If I could piggyback on you, I would have to say I did check myself when you said look at the part that you play. I don't know about y'all, but after my divorce, it was when I finally got it. Sometimes we want to offer people what they're not asking us for. They're telling us what they need, but we try to give them something different. So a quick example, my ex-husband used to always say to me, you don't show me that you love me. And I would be sitting here like, what the heck are you talking about? I'm a stay-at-home wife. The house is clean. I wash your drawers. You never have to worry about finding clean t-shirts. I make sure the children are well fed. They're taken care of. All these things that I felt like were an attachment to him. And I never got it. He constantly said it, how do you show me, just me, you love me? And I got so frustrated with him. And it wasn't until after we got a divorce, I sat with myself and I said, oh my gosh, he was asking for apples and I kept giving this man oranges.
Mm-hmm.
He was asking me, what is it that you have set apart for me? And I didn't make that time for him, y'all. So in me reflecting on that, I know moving forward in a new relationship, I'm making time for my man. There's going to be time for him without children involved, without his family involved. And he's going to have things that I'm doing clearly to show him that he's important to me and that I love him. So that's an example of how I had to work on myself, and a perfect example of what you said, sis, that sometimes it's not this big, huge thing that you have to work on. It might be something really soft and subtle, a whisper, so to speak, that you've heard your whole marriage and never heard it until after the fact.
Woo, that's good. Wow. I'm gonna chime in just real quick on that. You are absolutely correct about that. And self-reflection is so key when you're moving on. You realize the things that you didn't do in your marriage, you can now do them, and your life is so much better because of it. Your life is so much more peaceful. The next relationship you go into, less arguments, more, just talking to each other and communicating. Like, but if you're so focused on, and I'm sharing this because I felt like there was a lot of abuse in my past relationship, my past marriage. And so a long time I focused on that. I focused on, how he treated me, how this, but when I finally said, you know what? Maybe I didn't communicate well that I was in a depressed state. And that's why I was operating the way I was and what I needed. Or maybe I didn't really hear him out or know his expectations for me. And I didn't share my expectations for him. So when I really started to dive into that, it made life so much easier going forward, and my relationships now so much better. At this point, the boundaries are there, the piece is intact, and we're not going back, to anything else. And
I
so,
love
yeah,
that.
self-reflection is absolutely key. Absolutely.
Beautiful, beautiful, sis.
I think TJ might be muted.
Risha's muted as well.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So as I was saying, I don't know if I can say this on here, but I'm gonna say it anyhow. Please forgive me. Damn, great answers. No, seriously, I love it because it all. I mean, they're touching answers. They're deep, and this is what we all must sit here and do and look at ourselves. The most important thing we got to do is be accountable, but also communication. I'm gonna answer this about communication. Communication is not just a communicating with other people, also communicating with yourself by being honest with yourself. When you sit here and see your mistakes, communicate to yourself, and you know what I did. You know, you must sit here and look at yourself. And
Yeah.
all of your answers. I don't have too much to say about that because, ladies, y'all really just, ooh, that's a home run. Y'all knocked it out of the ballpark. I love you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I love it.
Absolutely. I'm sitting back here like, y'all could be your own show. You don't even need me. Like, what is this? I love the way you guys are just flowing and building on the points and just going, just doing your thing. Yes. This is amazing. This is why we do this. This is why I think, it's so important to have conversations like this. Y'all don't even need me. I'm just here. But I wanted to share some of the comments that we have and give everybody a chance to share what they've got going on before we get into some of these audience questions. So I don't know where we dropped off, y'all, but we have so many comments. I'll just come down here. It's fine. It's fine. Wiggy says, I like that. Becoming a better person. Yes, we love it when you become better.
Mhm.
Always, always. Mimi says, in any relationships, we as females go into internal healing mode to become a better person for the next decisions in life. I believe that. And of course, we always love it when you salute us and tell us, hey, this is valuable information. Thank you. I am currently checking on me. Wow, interesting. And yes, I'm a whole person now. Like,
Love
listen, we like it when you whole. Like, there's a
No,
whole
that's
lot of
right.
half folks walking around here. Let's keep it real. There's a whole lot of half folks. So the good news is, I'm just saying, talking about you complete me. Get off the Jerry Maguire plan, okay? That is foolishness. You want to come whole. Come whole and come real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, panel, you all are thriving professionals in the work that you do. And so I would love for you to share what you have going on in your respective ventures. Monica, I will start with you.
Ooh, yay me. So my name is Monica Eccles. I am the owner of Harmony's Heart. Harmony's Heart is both a birth business or birthing business, as well as a spiritual business. So I'm an intuitive coach, as well as a certified birth and bereavement doula. So what I'm currently working on is trying to touch bases with different organizations in the community so that I can continue to serve hands-on and not just over the phone, not just over video. I really want to be up close and personal with the more underprivileged women of the community, whether they're young or old, to give them support in their birthing journeys, as well as help them with their mindsets and their intuitive development. So that's currently what I'm working on.
Awesome. TJ.
All right, thank you. I'm more low key. I like being more like Will Smith from Hitch. I like being low key, not out in the limelight. I love working with men and women alike, but I am starting to gravitate more towards helping our men out here. Because just from this panel, listen to the ladies, I see more and more that a lot of us, because I needed the help, I needed mentorship myself when I was younger, and I had it. A great man named Charles Campbell, God bless his soul. And I always tell people when they learn from me, they learn from Charles Campbell as well, because he helped me become the man that I am. I would help them become the men they want to sit here and be in life and be better men. So when I hear these stories from ladies, I'll hear less of them because they're dealing with better men. And now they must look at themselves even more because these men have already done the work on themselves to be a better man, to be better in relationships, and also be better professionally. And also our youth out here. So those are things I'm working on mainly right now.
Hi, everyone. Yes, so again, I am Evelyn Wilson, aka Evelyn Flows. A lot of people know me as Evelyn Flows, and I have had the distinct honor and privilege of kind of blowing up in these internet streets. So I like to use this platform, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, to reach my tribe. And so right now, that's how you can really connect with me. And in the month of April, we have an amazing challenge coming up. It's a 90-day challenge, but we're breaking it up into 30-day increments. It's called Believe, Breakout, and Build. And so the first part of it is just believing again. A lot of times, divorce, different, setbacks in life can cause us not to believe anymore, not to believe in love, not to believe in, hope, not to believe in ourselves. And so I feel tasked with that assignment to help people believe again in themselves. So that's my main thing that I'm doing right now. And then on the back end, I help people do what I've accomplished in social media and help them grow their platforms and reach their ideal tribe. So that's what I have going on right now, and I'm excited about it. I'm also building community here in Brooklyn, New York as well. So if you see me in the street, say hey, and let's connect in person as well.
Hi, everyone. I am Risha Gray. You can find me on Instagram at Mind Body Whole. And I just love working with women on bettering their relationship with self, right? Increasing their self awareness, increasing their self love, and learning how to create the lives that they really want to live. So I would love for you to connect with me. Find me on Instagram again at Mind Body Whole.
Thank you, Risha. Thank you to all of our panelists. Listen, we've got some questions over here that I want us to get into. And so I am going to get to that part over here in the land of the StreamYard. All right. So we've got a few questions. First question is, I've never been married or divorced. If you had children in the marriage, how did you prepare your children for the loss of what they knew as their normal? I'm going to put that up for the panel so you can process that. And I'm going to remove myself because I can't speak to that except for my parents getting divorced. And I didn't even know they were actually divorced. So I think I'm going to sit this.
Ooh, I think I'll chime in on that first. I know many people, have it all together, but when it happened to me, I didn't have it all worked out. Um, Basically, when I was divorced, it happened right before the pandemic was hitting.
Oh, wow.
There was an incident that happened, and those who are spiritual here, I think you can connect with this. Some things happen for a reason. Really, all things happen for a reason and for our good.
Yeah.
But there was an incident that happened with me, and hopefully, Stephanie, it's okay for me to be transparent because I feel like it's going to help somebody. Um, I was at a low point, so low that I had a suicide attempt. And my family didn't know how bad everything was at the time. But when that happened, alerts went off and everybody knew what was going on. And so before the divorce happened, my children were sent with my parents because of that incident.
Mhm.
And I thank God for my parents because they helped me to transition my children through all of that.
Yeah.
So, my advice to those who are going through this is you may not have it all figured out, you may not have it all together, but use your community as support. Be as honest as possible as you can with your children, depending on how old they are. Um, you know, but it's really an individual based, situation. But that was my experience, and I'm so grateful for my parents, for my community. They helped me and my children transition through what we were going through.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you for being vulnerable. Because there's so many layers to relationships and divorce, and that's reality, right? Like there are things like that come up and that happen within our relationships. And for me, um, my divorce was kind of honestly, I had not planned it. Like I had not thought about like, or had a long range plan, like I'm going to do all these things. And then we were literally having a conversation one day, and in the middle of the conversation, because something was said, and I immediately knew like, okay, this is the end of this relationship. And mid conversation, I shared that with my husband. And so I didn't know how to prepare my kids. And because divorce sometimes is something that just happens, and it's sometimes your first time going through it, you're not an expert of it. You don't know how to do it and how to prepare your kids for this, you know? And so there was lots of conversations, lots of, you know, me assuring them that they were still loved, that it was not their fault, that there was nothing that they did for it to happen to cause it. And now my kids are also in therapy because I want them to have safe spaces to talk about things that maybe they don't feel safe coming to me about. But it is challenging, and I don't know that there's a right way to do it. You just kind of roll with it, and you go through it, and you keep showing up for them to let them know that, you know, they are still a priority, that you still love them and they still matter, and that, you know, you're going to get through it as a family.
Absolutely. First of all, thank both of you for being so transparent, especially you, Sister Evelyn. I really appreciate you sharing that. And I'm so grateful that you're still here and that you are able to tell someone else your story. I agree with both of you. There was no preparation for the divorce. And the right way is always going to be just the way you handle it, because we all handle it based on the tools that we have. Let's just be honest. We didn't get training on how to get in it. What makes us think we're going to have training how to get out of it? You know? And so for my children, to answer the question, what I did was age appropriately, like Sister Evelyn mentioned. You have to adjust conversations to your children's ages, and not even all the time their ages. Some children are very, very smart and they comprehend things very well. So you know what you can determine based on what your child's mindset is and their temperament, what you should share and what you shouldn't share. One thing that I remain consistent with, and I'll say this in closing: do not make disparaging remarks about the other parent. I don't care how the other parent treats you. Your relationship with your children is going to speak volumes. Trust me, I know. I've lived it. And the older children come back and they thank me and they say, you never did talk bad about this person. You never did say, you're right, and I won't ever do it. But what ends up happening a lot of times in divorce, parents want to just spew all this hatred and these vile things they want to say about each other. When it comes to children, you can say what you want to say to each other, but in front of those kids, do not do that. Make sure you do the best that you can to uphold the most wholesome idea and representation of them. Let them show themselves who they are to the children.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Yes, 100%.
Amazing answer,
Yes.
panel. Let me get back over here to these. We've got like oodles of comments, and then we've got questions as well. So, and Evelyn, you know, I love you dearly, my sister, and I appreciate your candor. Like, it's always welcome here. You're in a safe space, and we love you. So just know that. And apparently we're not alone. Creative Soul says she loves this panel. Mimi also thanks you for the response and the transparency. So, and I'm just gonna say it again. We love you, Ed. All right.
Love you too.
So,
love you too.
Get into you too. And she was being really modest about, you know, these social media streets. Evelyn has a following of probably somewhere in the neighborhood in totality, somewhere probably between 70 to 100,000 if I do my math right, but her reach is into the millions. So she's actually being very modest about these social media streets, as you will. A little modest, you know what I'm saying? But let me give you your flowers, because
thank you.
That with your transparency, and we appreciate it greatly.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So next question. Some people prefer not to have the kids involved in their relationships when they're dating. And I guess this also is post-divorce. Is that a realistic expectation?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. If all of you don't mind me starting, It is realistic because when you realize you're just dating, okay, nothing is established yet. You know, nothing. You're just going out, having some drinks, having some eats, having a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
When you're ready to go to another step, or maybe being a little bit more deeper into the dating aspect of it, okay, where now you're a bit more kind of like see on a one-on-one or so. Yes, the kids should be sooner or later invited into the picture. So, but when you're just dating, you know, it's not really hard. And I'm saying that because I was involved with different young ladies who had kids, and this is what I learned from them. They kept the children out of it until we progressed to another level, and I respected that. You know,
Mhm.
it keeps the kids from getting attached to me or to the man involved inside the relationship or the woman involved in the relationship. I'm sorry, inside of the dating aspect of it, because children get attached real quick. They start liking you. You know, they'll like the person more than what mine or daddy did. You know,
Yeah.
so yes, it's just if you be mindful, saying that this is not about my children right now. I'm just going out having some fun, a little bit of fun, getting some drinks, some eats, and doing a little bit of things with this person. That's all it is. It's just dating. Keep those
Yes.
expectations and assumptions low until you move on to another level of it. Then let those expectations, assumptions be addressed, let them be discussed, and then you see how you go from there. And I'm sorry, real quick, Evelyn, I totally relate to you. I've been there. I'm thankful that you made it through. I know what it's like.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. Let's talk about that one day also. I would love to share my story as well, but I can relate. But thank God you're here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm enjoying this show. I'm having a great time with you ladies.
I've had a great time. I
I
have.
am as
Y'all
well.
are
I'm as well. I definitely agree with you, TJ, about yes, it's very possible to keep the kids out of the dating arena. I've done it both ways.
Mhm.
Only once though, only one time, because after that one time, I was like, no, no, no,
knew
you're
better.
not gonna meet. No
Exactly.
one's meeting my children until I know that this is something that's gonna be for the long run. So, yeah, I completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Can
Come on,
can I
Monica.
just add
Come on, Monica.
I just want to add a different spin on this, why it's important to take time, because while I didn't have a lot of people around my children after my divorce. It's difficult though when your partner doesn't take that same approach. And now you have to do damage control for women that have been brought into their lives that they've called mom.
Yep.
They just met them. Now they're calling them mom. Now they're here. The next thing you know, they're gone. They're having
Mhm.
negative experiences. This could be a whole other panel, by the way. Stephanie just put it there. Talk about being a new woman. Oh, I'm just saying. But that is
Listen.
another aspect of woo. If even though on my end I'm taking these necessary steps, your partner may not always do that, and that adds another
Yes.
layer of issues to
Good
deal
point.
with. But I agree with what Evelyn said and TJ. I do not involve my children in anything until I really feel that there's the potential for something long lasting and that has some
Mhm.
stability. Of course, we all can't plan for every situation, but I'll do my best to prevent them from having to go through any more trauma.
Hmm. Yeah.
Good answer. Good
Mm.
response.
Mhm.
And if I could just jump in for a second, some of y'all don't know this about me, but at one point I was my internet dating concierge, and that's just how I'll call it. But that even before that, I was the child that had to meet everybody daddy liked.
Mm.
I just met this nice lady. I want you to meet her. And I'm like, I'm an adult, y'all. Like I'm a full-blown adult. And I'm like,
Like, nah.
you just met this broad 2 minutes ago, sir. I love you, but seriously? Now, I think in my adult life, I think it was kind of a test. I'm gonna tell y'all a hilarious story. Y'all ready for this? So
Yeah.
he met this woman. I can't remember this woman's name to save my life. And she wanted to help with the business, because that's what some women do when they want to slide in on that entrepreneur. So he calls me, he says, Stephanie. I said, yes, daddy. Whatever her name is, we'll call her Betty. Betty wants to use the computer. And I said, okay. And he said, she can't seem to get in it. I said, she can't because I set up the computer to have a guest log in and his login and then my login. And so I said, well, the guest one is next to the computer. She says it's not working. Red flags, just beep, 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 beep. And so I was like, well, daddy, I don't don't really remember. Let me tell y'all what happened, because we talked about the Lord. Let me tell you how the Lord is. And so she calls herself, well, I guess wanted to get in and help daddy with his business. And I'm like, he doesn't need your help, but go off. She tried to log in again. Y'all, that computer shut down and never turned back on ever. The computer was like, no, I'm good. I'm good on you. I don't know what her... The computer was like, no, we good.
Not today.
You don't want to turn on. Not today.
She was up to no good.
But I could just saying what you're saying, like it almost sounds like, listen, it almost sounds like logic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it does. It sounds like logic to say, I'm not going to introduce somebody to my children until we know this is something. But there are people that don't do it. And I think sometimes, unfortunately, I mean, I was an adult, but I think there are people that use their smaller children as kind of the governor to see if they should proceed with this relationship. And I'm just going to say, as an adult, okay, it was laughable. As a child, I think you're just creating confusion. And if your picker is so bad, you need a minor child, and I mean like 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old, to tell you that you should or should not engage in a relationship, it might just be time to stop dating and go see a therapist, a coach, somebody who can assist you in developing discernment and intuition. That's just my 22 cents on the matter, panel.
Yeah.
That's just my 22 cents on the matter. So let's keep this conversation going. We got one. Hold on. I think we got one more question. Let me see. Creative Soul says great answers. Amazing. And like I said, I confess, like y'all are talking about attachment. I get attached. I love children. I have no biological children. So I get it. I'm adults. I get attached. Okay. I get attached. And the first guy I ever dated with a child, you would have thought I adopted a kid. I was so excited. I was in college and I was like, oh my God, I'm buying him little London fog jackets and stuff. But when that relationship ended, I wouldn't see that child again until he finished basic training.
Yep.
Like, it's rough in these streets. So anyway.
Yes.
Like, it's rough. All right. So Creative Soul has a comment, but I think it's a great conversation piece. We also need to understand what it takes to heal. A lot of people think that they are healed, and I'll add to that, or healing, but they're not. And I think this is a great thing for us to discuss in this panel, because it's a lot. We're talking about losing relationships. We're talking about marriage loss. We're talking about the redefining a normal. We're talking about all of these things. And, it's real tempting sometimes for people to go back to the gym and to go back to church and talking about I'm healed. And I'm like, that's not how any of this works. So I would love to get the panel's thought as we move into our conclusion on what do you really think that it takes to heal? Like, what does real healing look like, y'all? And Evelyn, you giggling, so I'm coming right to you. Let's go.
Oh gosh, I'm giggling because you said go to church and the gym and then think they healed. My goodness. That was funny to me. Yes, I'm gonna try not to be too long-winded on this, but that was definitely a part of my journey. Just imagine the life coach, the business strategist goes through a divorce. What is my first thing to do? Oh, let me just take myself through these little steps that I take everybody else through, and give me a little bit of time, and then I'm gonna come out healed. Well, it's not quite like that, because healing is a journey. It's a process. There's an ebb and a flow. You're going to have low moments, very low moments. You're going to have high moments. I mean, it's an ongoing process. So I think understanding the healing journey and what stage you're in it is very effective. Kind of like what we talked about earlier, understanding, when am I ready to pursue another relationship? When am I ready to even, give my friends the time that they deserve? When am I ready to do the, and it's different for everybody, so that really hit home with me with the whole healing part, because baby, I took I would say maybe about 6 months and went through this, intensive healing process. And I came out and I thought I was healed. Okay. And I wasn't. Years later, I'm still healing. Things will come up and you still have to deal with it and you still have to work through it. So it is an ongoing journey. That is what I will say on that piece for sure.
And I'll add to that. I mean, I think that as Evelyn shared, it's never done. Like there's no destination. It's you're always healing. And for me, my healing journey has not been pretty. Like I think a lot of people try to make it seem like it's this beautiful experience. And there are some beautiful pieces to it.
Yeah.
And there's beauty that comes out of it. But I think about anything that's in process, right? Like when a house is being built, like there's trash, there's stuff everywhere, there's dust, there's all kind of things in the air. Like it's not a pretty process. When you're working on your yard, it's not a pretty process. So like you have to think about yourself as being under construction, like being overused, but it's not a pretty process. And for me, it came down to I questioned everything. It came down to looking at every single part of my life and everything that I thought that I believed about life, so that I could figure out what it was that I wanted and how things that I thought I believed in led me to this place. And so I went all the way back down to ground zero, to my foundation, to really look at my life and figure out, how did I get to this place? And I think that if you have not done that, like if you have not looked at the whole of your life and questioned yourself about like, how did I get here? What is it in me that I believe that led me to this place? Then I don't think that you have really got down to the place where you're going to be able to begin a true healing journey. You're probably doing some micro dosing, getting some little fixes by doing other things, but it's going to take some real deep root work in order to begin a true healing journey.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Risha, you really said it all right there, especially what I was going to touch on. I'm glad you already touched on it. Going to your foundation. Like you said about you talk about how a house is being built. Yes, a house being built, it'll stay built and stay stronger when it's built on a foundation. Get back to your foundation. And a lot of times that includes your morals, your principles, your ethics, things that is your foundation. When you build off of that again, watch how better you'll be, to be more strengthened. Okay, you're not as always from other relationships reacting. Now you're responding. You're doing different now because you've looked at you and you worked on you. But I love you talking about the foundation. That is so true. We get away from our foundation. We start building on other properties and everything, right? But we don't have a true foundation. Get back to you, the true you, the strong you, the you that you were before, but make that person better. And watch how you'll heal. You heal a whole lot better than what you did before. Because sometimes we may break an arm, and if it's not putting it back in place, it's still going to be afflicted. Okay, it's going to be not healed the right kind of way. People do the same thing. They don't always heal the right kind of way when they don't get back to their true foundation. Okay, I'm not kind of like getting off that little, but that's basically what it is. And I love what you said, because that foundation is so important, especially what I do with my Bayo coaching. We talk about that all the time. Give people their foundation, knowing your principles, knowing your ethics, your morals, and abiding by it, and becoming a better person. And watch how you'll heal a whole lot better, a whole lot faster.
I agree. If I could add to touch on something that Sister Evelyn said earlier in our conversation, some people never had a foundation, so the divorce is actually leading them to create that foundation for themselves. I'm that person. I had no sense of self, no identity. I was I went from being a teen mom to a wife, and I never discovered who Monica was. And so me going through marriage and having the trials and tribulations and challenges that ensued helped me to discover who I am today. I know myself. I love myself. But let's be honest, even on the healing journey, you get wounded again.
Yes.
For me, by different people in different situations. So that's what you are saying. The healing journey is one that continues. And in closing, I'll say this because I think this is important. It's kind of like my daughter is a senior. I'll use her as an example of what I'm trying to say. She's a senior. And so we all know when we're seniors in high school, we take either the ACT or we take the SAT. And my daughter did amazing on English. She's knocked it out of the park in English, and in math, she just did horrible. She got about the lowest score that you can get. And so my advice to her was, I said, well, you know what you know. So when you go back to study, don't even look at English. You ace that. Study and put time and effort into that math. I want you to look at every angle, study everything that you didn't know, what didn't make sense. And that's what I encourage all of us to do. When we have considered ourselves to be failures, when I don't feel like it's a failure, I think it's just a test and we didn't score that great. So now I'm going to go back and look, where was I sucking as a wife? Where did I suck in this marriage? In the things that I know about myself that are my good qualities and my strengths, I'm not even going to worry about that. I'm just going to focus on rebuilding, recalibrating, restructuring the areas that need that, because sometimes people get overwhelmed trying to do everything at one time and then they do nothing and they just give up. So that is how I see, or what I suggest, I should say, when it comes to healing. Focus on what you feel like you didn't do right. You don't have to, what do they say? We don't have to go back and reinvent the wheel. Let's just, if a spoke fell off, let me just replace that spoke and make it stronger. So that is how I made it through. And that is what I would encourage you all to hear in this space.
Love that.
Good. Hey, Monica, I want to touch on something real quick that you said. I want to leave you guys with this question. It's a simple question that I ask my female clients, but it's a powerful one. Ask yourself, take away your title of wife. Take away your title that you have on your job. Take away your title of mommy, and then ask yourself, who am I? A lot of them, they lose themselves in life. They become their title. They become wife. They become their job title. They become mommy, but they forget who they really, really were. Ask yourself, who am I? And watch the answer you get. If you don't like your answer, build up on that. Build up on who you are and who you really, really want to be.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, God. Yes. Woo. Look at Stephanie.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Woo, yes. Okay, we're over here in our own little world. I'm supposed to be showing comments, y'all. Okay, so listen, we've got a few comments. Panel, I like for people to get their flowers. I guess I should put me over here somewhere. Hold on, let me drag me over here. Okay. Drag me. Okay, I'm not dragged yet. I'm sure some people that would love to drag me, but they're not afraid. All right, I got me. I am now officially drugged. Okay, so Creative Soul says great answers. Y'all so silly. Y'all making me act bad. Mimi's giving hand claps. Okay. Wiggy said healing is hated by many as they look at it as being down upon. I think the only people that hate healing are the people that are super wounded and they like pus and gangrene. I mean, I don't know. Mostly because they can whine about how much pus and gangrene they have. Some people don't know who they are apart from their wounds. That's just the reality. Creative Soul says, not divorced, but thought about it during the first decade of marriage. So these are questions I thought about to prepare myself just in case at the time. All right, that's fair. We'll keep it a buck. That's right. Wiggy says, yes, my healing is daily. It doesn't end. Somebody called the College of Empowerment, says Jesus and Jim, #not. Jesus and Jim. Says, I appreciate this panel. I had no Jesus and Jim is not healing. Okay. If you say never mind, I'm not even touching that. It's too easy. Okay. I had no clue what it meant when people would say healing, amazing. And this one right here, y'all, this is the pinnacle. I like the folks that say, I'm just going to go get another degree after a breakup. I'm like, that's real talk. I saw a meme that said, 6 hours after a breakup, a woman will have a new degree, a gym membership, a new hairdo, and all these other things. And I'm like, it's funny until it's not, right? Because the healing's always within. It is very rarely without. And so a lot of people love to go the outward way because it's easier. It's easier for me to blame them. It's easier for me to say this, that, and the third. It's easier, y'all. I mean, I wish we had another hour to keep this party going because it has truly been a party, like a whole party, y'all. But panelists, if I can just thank you all for your time and your transparency and your candor and just rolling with the punches with all of it. Thank you so much for making this an amazing panel. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And with that, I think we will, man, what a panel. I couldn't ask for better panelists. I'm almost like without words because you never guess that many of these people just met today. And not all of them, but many of them just met today. And just the chemistry, the camaraderie, you can't see us chatting in the background, but it's truly been a beautiful time. But we started this panel talking about dating after divorce. And I think when it comes to deciding to date after a divorce or even after a breakup. So that being said, use your wisdom, use your discernment, and stop thinking a degree and going back to church is just everything that you need. The truth of the matter is you'll be in the exact same relationship 6 months from now. So do your due diligence. And hopefully, guys, we'll see you at 2 p.m. to talk about how to relationship. Y'all have a great one. Okay. Y'all still here? Bye.
Welcome to the Marriage and Mating Summit, presented by the College of Empowerment to help us all get our ships together. At the College of Empowerment, we're innovating personal and professional development with an online community, courses, and private coaching. Take a course. Get a coach.